Rescue Mission Alliance. In today's agenda, we're going to go over briefly on the problem statement that we identify, the methodologies that took place within our project, the two celebration path, which includes a 200,000 budget implementation plan and a 400,000 budget implementation plan, as well as going over the emergency COVID-19 procedures, the feasibility conclusion, and Q&A. And let's start with briefly with the problem statement. So our problem statement is we are building, creating two separate musical festival events budgets, which includes a 200,000, 400,000 budget, which will help celebrate Ventura Rescue Mission's 50th anniversary. And a key objective that will be fulfilled within this two budget will be providing a blueprint how the anniversary concert will be planned and executed. Additionally, a part of this problem statement will include recommendation, which will include venue choices, artists, vendor suggestions, as well as pre and during and post promotional ideas. This will help us determine that this consulting project will be feasible to gain at least 50% of revenue return and a positive marketing value. Next, Patrick's going to go ahead and take over the methodology that took place within our project.
Thank you very much. For our methodology, we used 4 methods to be able to generate this consulting project. To begin, we interviewed Doug Otten, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Rescue Mission Alliance. He provided us some key objectives and some insight into what Rescue Mission Alliance wants to accomplish with its 50th anniversary celebration. We then conducted secondary research, which meant that we researched best practices, other existing concert budgets, and we studied rental rate cards of various venues in Ventura County. After that, we conducted a site visit of Rescue Mission Alliance in Ventura. We interviewed staff, and we gained some valuable insight on RMA's culture. Finally, we conducted primary research, which consisted of researching artists, venues, and budgets as they relate to putting together a concert. To discuss the site visit, I will now pass it to Emily.
Thanks, Patrick. So as my colleague Patrick mentioned, one of the methodologies we used was to visit the site in Oxnard to get the ideas with Rescue Mission Alliance's everyday operations. So some of these pictures show how they operate, for example, with the overnight shelter or hospitality service after the rescue, or guiding people into the program, getting into help with the food service and learning center in the facility as well. So next, I'm going to pass over to Megan. We have 2 different celebration paths.
Thank you, Emily. Good morning, everyone. So now we will discuss the 2 options for the 50th celebration. Our team was given 2 budgets, as previously mentioned. The smaller budget was for $200,000 and the larger one was for $400,000. Here we have a side-by-side comparison for both options. For the lower end budget, as you see, the event would be able to host about 150 to 300 guests, and the larger end budget would be able to host about 400 to 500 people. The smaller budget would be for a smaller formal event that will last about 4 hours, and the larger budget would be for a festival-like event that could last about 4 to 6 hours. The smaller event would have a higher price ticket and be targeted to people 18 and over, while the larger festival event would be for families and the surrounding community. The musical artists for both events would be the same. However, the larger event would also include a DJ who would perform prior to the main event taking place. Both events would take place at the Ventura Fairgrounds, but the smaller one would utilize a banquet hall, while the larger concert event would occur at the arena area. The smaller event would have selective vendors, while the larger event would be able to host a few more vendor options. The marketing for the smaller event would be fundraiser focused, and the larger event would use the concert for its marketing. And now to continue discussing the marketing strategies, I will pass it to Emily.
Thanks, Megan. So we have some marketing strategies here. So this will help RMA with implementation and accomplishing their long-term mission, objective, and goal. So RMA has been already providing great programs and services closely with Ventura County and communities, churches, local or individual corporations and vendors, and they have more than enough potential to grow with the powerful marketing tools and fundraising tactics. So one outstanding example was actually from City of Oregon. What they are doing is posting the storytelling and advertisement throughout the social media platforms. They use Twitter a lot, but there is YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So something RMA can start right away will be spreading the news of the concert in advance with targeted ads on Facebook, specifically in Ventura County, or Twitter posts to notify upcoming concert events so it can capture everyone's attention all over the county. Eventually, RMA or even Christian band will invite or suggest, well, Wall Collective can come up with a YouTube clip about the upcoming concert as well. Now I'm going to pass over to Patrick. We'll start with the 200,000 budget implementation plan.
Thank you very much, Emily. So we have identified the Ventura County Fairgrounds as the perfect location to host both events. Speaking specifically on the $200,000 budget, the Ventura County Fairgrounds has smaller venues that can accommodate approximately 1,500 to 1,900 people. Some services will be required, which include security personnel, electricians, event insurance, and of course, renting the venue itself. On the screen, you see some estimates on the costs. For the services, it is approximately $1,600. You'll also need equipment, which can include chairs, tables, stages, a podium, and a dance floor if you require it. This is approximately 1,131. So venue total for services and equipment is on the low end, approximately $2,731. On the next slide, you'll see the venues we've selected within the Ventura County Fairgrounds. On the left, you'll see a map where you see it indicates here. These are two potential halls that the Rescue Mission Alliance can rent. You can rent either one. We've provided two options in case one is not available. So the first one is Anacapa Hall, which you see pictured here. And the second one is San Miguel Hall. Each venue offers accommodations such as restrooms, concession stands, and other necessary space for your event. So as I stated earlier, these venues can hold approximately 1,500 to 1,900 people, which is a good amount for the event. Next, I will pass it to Erwin, who will discuss vendors for this budget.
Thank you, Patrick. So within the 200,000 budget implementation plan, and this is a great opportunity for RMA to partner with Roaming Hunger, which they can provide vendors that are native to Ventura County. After speaking with their CEO, which is Ross Resnick, he suggested to add these two participating vendors within the much smaller budget, which will be Rockshare Rose and Tiki's of Ventura County. And based on the 250 guests that be participating, based on their proceeds, 35 of the proceeds will go towards RMA great cost. And having these two food trucks will be an excellent fit for the smaller or larger budget venue due to the number of people attending, serving Ventura's popular dishes, and having a much more open menu. In the next slide, we're going to talk about the feasibility. And this is a great feasibility for RMA due to the donations is going to be donated to a great cause for RMA. So the total of donation from the current sponsorship, which is the vendors, will be about 1,839, which is great revenue for RMA, and this will help them build a long-lasting network with them to continue to promote RMA's mission and cause. And next, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it towards Megan, who's going to talk about more about the musician and a smaller budget.
Thank you, Erwin. So the musicians we are recommending are a band called Well Collective. They're a local group who has provided services for churches and conferences and led live and recorded worship gatherings for similar events across Southern California. They're a Christian band and they personify quality in addition to the core principles that the rescue mission also embodies. Well Collective is dedicated to creating worship, hope, and restoration. Their music can be streamed on iTunes, Spotify, and Amazon Music, and we believe that they're a great and suitable fit for the entertainment for the celebration. Our communication with the group has been very positive and promising, and they are extremely excited to participate in the event. And now I will discuss the budget for the musicians. So Well Collective will be providing 5 band members as well as sound engineers, and the estimated amount will be $4,000 for this. The necessary equipment will include microphones, a mixer, and a sound system, and the estimated total for all of this would be $4,560. On the next slide, I will discuss the feasibility. Here we have a breakdown of the implementation costs for the $200,000 budget. For the services, equipment, and musicians, the total cost would be around $7,000. The projected amount of ticket sales is 250 tickets at $75 per ticket, and we expect to receive $1,839 in donations from the vendors with a total revenue of about $13,000. And to break even, we would need to sell at least 100 tickets for the event. The inclusive partners feel that the feasibility of this plan for the budget of $200,000 is very achievable and would be a viable option for the rescue mission to move forward with. And now we will continue our discussion for the $400,000 budget, and I'll pass it to Leah to do that.
Thank you, Megan. And like my teammates have already reiterated, we will be using the Ventura Fairgrounds as well for the larger budget. However, because this one is more of a festival and family-like environment, and we also have more time, we also built a larger budget for this one. One of the reasons why we chose a daytime event is it actually cuts down the cost for lighting. So we chose that as a more feasible option, as well as it just, since there is no alcohol at the event due to the already graduated alum from the program, we felt that it's more of a family-like event to have it during the daytime. And the Ventura Fairgrounds is a great spot for it. It is about 15 to 20 minutes away from the Ventura Rescue Mission. So if any volunteers or employees of Ventura Mission need to haul any equipment, it's much easier for them with the proximity. So total services is going to be around $4,960. We're also using the standing arena for this one, which I'll show on the next slide. The equipment though, however, I'm sorry if you can go back one real quick. Thank you. So the equipment, we also added a few COVID equipment embedded into our event. For example, the hand washing station and bleachers. It just gives everyone healthier options, right? More social distancing if they choose to, as well as hand washing stations, just in case they want that extra additive safety. The equipment in total is around $2,000. The venue in total is going to be around $4,960, which is great feasibility for this one. For the next picture, I'll show you the standing arena. It is very centrally located. Here are some pictures below us, some festival-like events from the Ventura Fairgrounds. One of the big things that we really enjoyed about the Grandstand Arena is that it leaves a lot of space for additional food trucks and additional vendors. One of the opportunities that we saw is that the Rescue Mission Alliance actually has very successful thrift stores. And with that thrift store, maybe possibly putting in a vendor space for the thrift store of selling vintage items, right, would help generate even a bigger return on investment, since Gen Zs are becoming more popular within thrift store buying and more sustainability. So that's just a way to channel in more revenue. To talk more about the vendors, I'm going to pass it on to my teammate, Erwin.
Thank you, Leah. So within the larger budget, the 400,000 budget implementation plan, the participant vendors that is going to be involved will be, as originally stated from a smaller venue, will be the two vendors from the smaller event will be incorporated within the larger event, which will be the Rock Shelf Rolls and Tickets of Ventura. And additionally, we'll be added two more food vendors, which are native to Ventura country, which will be Shrimp versus Shift, and as well as world famous Franks. And instead of being 35% of the proceed earning within the event, it will be 30% based on 400 guests that will be participating in this larger event. In the next slide, we will discuss more about the feasibility. And as you can see, the estimated donation of each vendor will go to a great cause. For example, Rock Chef Roll will be estimated donating 1,620, Tiki's 900, Shrimp versus Chef 3,600, and World Famous Franks 3,600 as well. So in total, we're looking about 9,720, which is great revenue for RMA. And this is the participation of these four vendors and sponsor in a more significant celebration event will help define its engagement with its supporters, and as well as our Rescue Mission Alliance Homeless Awareness and its mission. And next, Megan's gonna go ahead and talk about more about the musicians taking part of the larger event.
Thanks, Erwin. So as previously mentioned, we're going to recommend the same band for both budgets. The difference here is that we also recommend a DJ or / MC for the festival event who would play a set prior to the headliners taking the stage. The starting fee for the recommended DJ is $400, and the equipment needed would be pretty much the same as the previous budget, which is the microphones, the mixer, the sound system, speakers, and amplifiers. And the estimated total for all of this is $5,660. And now on the next slide, I will discuss the feasibility for the $400,000 budget. I would like to point out that both of our implementation plans are under budget and are highly feasible. This budget, as well as the $200,000 budget, would provide a great opportunity for RMA to not only celebrate, but to earn revenue that could be put back into the organization. Now I will hand it over to Patrick to discuss the plans that in the event that another COVID outbreak took place. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. So in the past few years, we've seen concerts migrate towards a digital platform. If the event were to move in that direction, RMA has some options for providing the concert still, regardless of the situation with COVID-19. So to begin, RMA would choose a platform, whether that's YouTube or Facebook, for them to stream the event. They would sell digital tickets, and they would use the Ventura Fairgrounds teleconference technology to stream the event on YouTube or Facebook or whichever platform they choose. They can choose a live streaming software that can stream the concert to various listeners and viewers. And they can set up this virtual concert in advance in case COVID-19 were to impact the event. Finally, they can perform a drive-through concert simultaneously with the live streaming event. And this can allow guests to enjoy the concert from the safety of their vehicles, while also allowing many viewers and guests to view from the comfort of their home. More details will be in the paper, but that is a rough outline of the COVID-19 procedure. Finally, to conclude our presentation, I will pass it to Leah.
Thank you, Patrick. So in conclusion, Inclusive Partners truly believes that this budget presented to Rescue Mission Alliance is very feasible and very willing to do. Each budget shows promising return on investment, and they were actually under budget. So also with the grace of Ventura Rescue Mission Alliance's very generous budget. It also proposes, as if they choose to not only do this for their 50th anniversary celebration, but if they choose to maybe implement this in an annual gala for high-end donors, or just to gain exposure into more celebrations, smaller events, just like the $200,000 budget, are very doable if they want it to be an annual event. It also, using the Ventura Fairgrounds, also shows a positive exposure into the community that they already serve so well for their homeless population. But this just gives them a more positive outlook and just better outreach to the community. Also, just celebrates a well-deserved 50th anniversary celebration. And like I said, if they want to do it for their 50th or just for events to come, it shows to prove very feasible for their nonprofit organization. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening and joining in. And we would like to take any questions that any may have now. Thank you.